Welcome to this makeup masterclass. Today we're going to be talking about contour and diving really deep into it so that you can feel more confident in adding this into your makeup routine. I am Jo Ellen. I am a certified makeup artist and a licensed esthetician, and I love keeping beauty simple for the everyday average woman who just wants to feel confident in her skin. And so we're going to be breaking down contour today so that you can feel confident in contour. Okay, so let's talk about what is contour, why we need a contour, how to contour, all the different things about contouring for your face shape and the different parts on your face and blah, blah, blah. We're going to dive really deep into it so that you really have all of your questions answered and you feel more knowledgeable so that you can try it at home. Okay, so what is contour? I know a lot of times we think of contouring is just for the makeup artists, the models, the actresses, and just as a everyday average woman, we don't really need to add that into our makeup routine, right? Well, we don't have to wear makeup, but makeup is just a fun way to express our creativity and to just enhance our beauty. So contouring helps add shape, shadow, and dimension onto your face. So let's take a step back. Most women like to wear foundation, maybe some mascara, maybe a little lipstick or lip gloss, right? So when we put foundation on our face, that's great because we're evening out our skin tone, because a lot of us have hyperpigmentation, we have age spots, we have melasma, sunspots, maybe rosacea, redness, things that we just want to even out to make it look a little bit less noticeable of our imperfections. So foundation does help even out our skin tone, but in doing so, by applying foundation all over our face, then we are now getting rid of our face's natural shape and shadows. So I don't have any contour on my face right now. I just have, my eyes are done. I did a little bit of foundation, and then we're going to be applying contour together. So on this side, I have foundation all over my face. So it's pretty even, just pretty flat, right? On this side, I only applied foundation just down here and a little bit right here. So you can see my skin is kind of, pinkish right here. And you can see I have a natural shadow right there because of my cheekbone. On this side, it's more flat. So when we apply foundation all over our face, we're erasing our shape on our face and we look flatter. So yes, we have more even skin tone, but then we look flatter and more lifeless. And so contour helps add in that shadow back onto your face so you look more 3D, so you look more alive, so you look more youthful. So that's what contouring is. Now, a lot of women are like, well, what's the difference between bronzer and contour? Because they're both brown, but not all shades of brown are the same. So contouring is for the shape, the shadow, the dimension. It's an ashier brown, whereas bronzer is a warmer brown, and it's for adding that sun-kissed glow and that suntanned look on your face. So let me show you an example of the difference between the two colors. So this one right here is a contour shade. So it's really ashy. It's an ashy brown. And then I'm going to show you the difference between a bronzer shade. This one is warmer. Do you see that? So we want our contour to mimic the ashy shades of brown. And we want bronzer to mimic that warm sun-kissed glow. So that's the difference. So you should not be using bronzer to contour because it's going to be too warm for you. Okay, so that is the difference between contour and bronzer. It's just that the ashy versus warm brown and where we place it on our face. Okay, so kind of gone over what is contour, what's the difference between bronzer and contour. Let's dive into how to contour and really figure that out so that you know how to do this in your home. Now, what you're going to need for contouring is you are going to need cream contour. I keep mine in my custom palette, but if you don't use the makeup that I use, that's okay. You can also buy it in just a tin and then just keep the lid on it and toss it in your makeup bag. You can use this contour with your makeup that you currently use. So whether you're using liquid foundation, mineral powder, or cream makeup, or something in between, you can incorporate this cream contour into your current makeup routine. There's also contour sticks, but I don't really like contour sticks because I feel like you don't have as much control of how much you apply. So I prefer this little tin and a contour brush because it's going to help you get the best application and the best blending experience, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to contour together so that you can really master the technique and feel confident when you do it in your home. So there are a few main places on your face that you want to focus your contour. The main place is your cheekbone. Really adding that fun like pop on your face to help you have that dimension is going to be really pretty and feminine. Also, you can do it on your forehead, along your jawline, and along your nose. So we'll go over each one of those, but the main one that I feel like if you're going to start with one area, definitely start with your cheekbone, because that's going to give you the biggest, like make the biggest difference in your current look. Okay, so you can either apply cream contour with your finger and then blend with the brush, or you can apply it with a brush and blend with a brush. So I'll do one way on one side and one way on the other side, and then you can play around with it. Like, this is just some guidelines and some tips, and then you can go home and practice it and see what works best for you. Like, that's the fun thing about makeup, is you just get to be creative and play around with it. It's a little bit of trial and error, but I'm giving you the foundational tips to help you along your way. So what we want to do first is find our cheekbone. Now, our faces are shaped different shapes, and so my cheekbone might look a little different than your cheekbone, and that's fine. But you do have a cheekbone. It's right in the middle of your face. It's going to be, you're going to have like this hollow right here, like right where your jaw, right above your jaw, you're going to have that hollow, and then it's just that bone right in the middle of your face. So your cheekbone, you're going to be wanting to contour right from your ear, about your hairline, to follow along their cheekbone to the corner of your eye, okay? If you get too much like beyond that, then it starts looking kind of dirty, kind of makes you look like you have a 5 o'clock shadow, and it just doesn't look as feminine. So we just really want to focus between the ear and the corner of your eye, okay? So take your cream contour, and you can either use like the smaller end to paint it, or you can actually use the other end to stipple it, and I'll show you both ways. So find your cheekbone, and you're gonna wanna go right underneath it, or even right on it. Kind of play around with what you like better, but I prefer right underneath it, and let your face just guide your brush, because it's gonna help, you're gonna feel that, that bone right there, and that's where you're gonna wanna apply your contour. So you can either like take the brush and just swipe it on, or you can take this side of the brush and kind of stamp it on. Kind of let that brush hug and stamp. Okay, so either way, whatever works best for you. Okay, so we're gonna apply it from your ear to your corner of your eye. So now let's do on this side, I'm gonna do with my finger. Now with cream makeup, it's important to tell you that no matter what cream makeup you're using, because it's cream, it will change its mobility, I guess you could say, depending on the weather, or depending on how hot or cold your home is, or wherever you are. So right now we're in the early days of spring, and so it's still a little chilly, and so my cream is a little bit harder. When you're in a warmer place, in a warmer climate, then your cream will be a lot smoother and warmer to blend. So keep that in mind throughout the year, that if your cream is not blending or applying as easily, it's just because it's probably colder, and so you just need to warm it up, or you just need to blend it a little bit better. So you could warm it up by taking your blow dryer and lightly blowing on top of it, just right up like a few inches above it, to kind of heat it up a little bit, and that will help it apply and blend a lot better if you're having a hard time. So I'm going to take my finger on this side, and I'm going to do the same thing that my brush would do. Just follow my cheekbone from my ear to the corner of my eye. And if you want to apply more, you can just do that. Or you can even apply it in like dots, like dot, 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 and then you can do that. So just kind of play around with what works best for you and go from there, okay? All right. Before we blend, I want to give you a little tip, depending on your face shape, okay? So if you have a fuller face, meaning a little bit rounder, a little fuller, you have maybe you're a little bit like more horizontally wider, a cool trick that you can do for making your face look a little slimmer is to, instead of applying your contour at more of a horizontal look to make it look wider, you can kind of trick the eye and apply your contour a little bit more at a slanted angle. So like to make it look a little thinner. So yes, you want to try to follow your cheekbone as much as possible, but if you want to get that little bit slimmer effect, you can kind of angle it more down to make your face look slimmer. Now, if you have a thinner face, more narrow face like I do, then you can do the opposite trick. Instead of pointing your contour down, make it more horizontal. So still try to follow your cheekbone as much as possible, but you can kind of trick the eye into thinking that you have a fuller face by just angling it more horizontal. Okay, so that's just a little trick you can try. But if that's too much, then just start with following your cheekbone and start with that. Okay, so we have drawn our line and now we're going to blend. So what a lot of women, the mistake that they make is that they blend it downwards and then it just makes your cheek look kind of dirty, or it just draws your cheek down, and we want to lift our cheek up. This is helping give our face a facelift, the contouring, okay? So we're taking our brush and you're going to blend the contour up into your cheek. Now you can pat, you can press, you can blend up, kind of swipe it, brush it. Just kind of maneuver your brush in a way that will best blend that makeup so it doesn't look like you have this harsh drawn line on your face. You want it to look as natural as possible. So just kind of keep working it until you get the desired look. Okay, and if you feel like you put way too much makeup on, you're like, whoa, I just cannot blend it well enough with the brush, you can take a makeup sponge that has been prepared. And when I say prepared, I mean you take it dry, you run it under water, and you squish it in and out, and then you wring that excess water out so that it's just bouncy and lightly damp. And so you'll take that and then you can just bounce it and press it on your face to pick up any excess product. You're like, ooh, I just feel like I have too much. Then you just keep working it. You're not swiping it away. You are just pressing and blending it into your skin, okay? And then if you're like, I just went a little too far down, I was a little messy, that's okay. Cream makeup is so forgiving. You can take a makeup brush and your foundation or your highlight, whatever makeup you use, take your skin color foundation, and you can take this and just clean up your line. It's really simple. So just give yourself a little grace and know that you can always clean it up if you need to. Okay, so let's just kind of blend it so it looks more natural, and then we'll move to the other side. Okay, so this side we did with our finger. It's a little bit a thinner line, and we're just gonna do the same thing though. We're just blending it up, pressing it into the hairline, into the skin. Just work it until you feel like you are happy with the results. Okay, so now we have some shape and shadow on our face. Now we don't look like a flat board. Our skin is even, and then we also have a little bit of shape and dimension on our face. Looking fun, right? Okay, let's also go into our forehead area. So think of a ball, and if you were to shine a light on it, the light would be really bright on the middle of the ball, but then around the top and the edges, it would be shadowed. So that's kind of the same thing. We want to give that shadowed effect on our face. So we're doing the same type of thing. So I'm going to take my brush and my contour, and we're going to take this and brush the brown contour right along our hairline, okay? And you want to go like from your hair, like from your mid forehead all the way up to the middle of your forehead, okay? So you're just following your hairline. I'm doing it on this side for this brush, and then on this side I'll do this side of the brush. And again, you can also use your fingers and then blend with your brush. Take that and blend it into my hairline, Okay, so then you go and you blend it back, and you want to create this triangle of light on your forehead. So think of this part right here like a triangle of light. So follow along your hairline, but also kind of bring it in a little bit so that this part of your face is the brightest. Okay, so just kind of keep blending it until you have the desired look. And again, if you feel like you put way too much on, take your sponge and then just bounce it on your skin to really marry your skin and your makeup together and to pick up any excess. Okay, so there we have our forehead, and now we have our cheeks. Now let's do our jawline. Now, not every woman has to do this, and may not need to do this. I don't do this very often because I have a pretty prominent jawline. But if you are a woman who has maybe your neck and your jaw, there's not much differentiation between the two, or if you have some excess skin, a little bit of a jowl down here, and you want to just kind of chisel your jawline out a little bit, this is a cool trick for you. We're kind of tricking the eye into thinking that we have a more bold and prominent jawline than we really do. So if you have, let's say like this skin flap right here, you would draw the line right along where your true jawline is, and you're just drawing the brown contour line right along there, and then you're going to blend it down along your neck, and it just creates that fake shadow, and it makes it look like you actually have a more chiseled jawline than you do. So it's kind of fun. It's a kind of cool trick just to follow your true bone if you have that excess skin or not a whole lot of different leveling of your neck and your jaw to create this fake shadow. So just follow along your jaw and blend it downwards. So that's kind of a fun trick too. Okay, let's do our nose. So there's a couple different ways that we can do our nose. You can either take a small, let me find a small brush that will help you kind of like paint along your lines. I have a few different types of brushes. I have like this kind of domed brush, a smaller dome brush, or even a tiny one like this. Kind of decide what works best for you or what you already have in your collection. And we're going to make our nose look slimmer and more chiseled than it is. So I already have a pretty slim nose, so I don't like to contour my nose too much, but let's say that you have a little bit wider nose, or you just don't love the shape of your nose, you can use contouring to kind of trick the eye into thinking that your nose is a little bit slimmer than it is. So you can take a brush, a small brush, and we're not doing it on the side of our nose, we're doing it on the very top side, like edge of your nose. You're going to take that and start, you want it to kind of connect to your eyebrow, but take that and start adding that dark brown along the top side of your nose. Now I like using this domed fluffy eyeshadow brush because it just gives it a softer look. It doesn't look like it's a harsh line. It just blends as you go. So I actually prefer using this brush. You can also use the edge of your contour brush, and you could kind of stamp a line and then blend it down. So just kind of work to see which way you like better. And then I think the key to this though is to create kind of like a reverse contour right in the middle. So now we have, you know, that brown shadow right along the top of our nose, but then to kind of make the middle of our nose look crisp, you can take a small brush and a light foundation shade and just add a little bit of that light color to make the bridge of your nose just appear slim and crisp. Okay, we could also use your finger if you wanted to. Fingers are great because your fingers are warm and have that from the body heat, and so it really helps that makeup blend really well into your skin. But that's just a simple way to kind of make your nose look a little bit more defined. Okay, so there we've done our contour of our cheekbone, we've done our forehead, we've done our jawline, we've done the sides of our nose. I think we've kind of covered it mostly, but I think though another question though you might have is, well, what color contour do I know is going to be best for me? So here are all the color contours that the makeup company that I like to use offers. And so you're looking at this and you're like, well, I have no idea which brown is going to be good for me. Well, this is a little trick that I like to use when I'm color matching women or I'm putting their makeup on and doing makeovers on them. I like to take the look, like the color of their hair, and match their contour as much as possible to that. Doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be as dark, but I mean like the tone. So if someone has really warm and lighter hair, then I would go for a warmer, lighter brown. If it's like an ashier, darker hair, then I go for an ashier, darker contour. So that's kind of a cool little trick I like to use in knowing what color is going to be best for me and for the women that I work with. And if you're just like still like, I have no idea, then you can reach out to me and I'd be happy to color match you and tell you exactly what color is going to look the best on you. Now I feel like my face still kind of looks a little empty. It looks, I don't know, a little naked. I still have my foundation and I have my contour on, but I feel like contour and blush go hand in hand with adding dimension and color to your face, because the foundation has erased the shadows and the dimension. We've evened out our skin tone, but blush and contour really helps add back in that really pretty dimension on your face. And so let's add a little bit of blush onto my cheeks so you can kind of get the finished full effect. Okay, so again, I like using cream makeup because it just blends and applies beautifully, and it just marries into the skin so nicely that it looks really natural. You can actually see your pores. It looks like real skin. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to go with this little bit more natural color right here, and I'm going to put it right on the top of my cheekbone, or my apple of my cheek, and then into my cheekbone. So applying that and then blending it into my contour, and it just adds a nice, pretty flush on any woman's face. If you're missing the blush step in your routine, you really have to add it in because it just helps you look more alive and more youthful. We want to have that even skin tone, but we also want to have that natural flush, that natural color on our face. And blush and contour really help achieve that. Okay. So there we have contour in a nutshell. And now I know that was a lot of information, but really I just want you to kind of go through this video, watch it over and over, practice, and see what techniques work well for you and which way you feel the most confident and the most beautiful in. Now there are several different kind of brushes you can use to contour. This is my all-time favorite one, the detail brush, because it has the really cool angles. I love this one for the blending and this one for the applying. If you want more of a light contour and you could just really want to brush it on really simply, a brush like one of these is maybe better for you. Or you can always just use your fingers and a sponge to blend. But this one right here is my absolute favorite. So it really depends on your preference, really depends on the look that you're going for. So if you need guidance in knowing what brush, what color contour, what techniques are going to be best for you, please reach out to me and ask me. I'm happy to help. I just want you to feel comfortable and confident in your makeup routine so that you show up as your best self so that you can serve others and shine your light. So have a fabulous day, and I will chat with you later. Ciao.